Under your kitchen sink or on a shelf in your laundry room, count the bottles. There is the detergent, $12, $13. There is the stain spray, another 4 or 5. There are the scent beads you started buying because the detergent alone stopped smelling like enough. There is the fabric softener. Add it up, and a single month of keeping your family's clothes clean runs you $20, $25 or more. Do that 12 months, and you are looking at $250, $300 a year, poured out of plastic jugs, every one of them empty by the time the next month starts. Now step into my laundry room. There is one jar on the shelf. Inside it is a dry powder, grated soap, washing soda, borax, that I mixed on the counter in about 10 minutes. The batch cost me roughly $6. I measure out 1 tablespoon per load. That jar does not run out next month. It does not come with a scent bead upsell. And the bar I use to make it also pre-treats every stain in the house, so the spray bottle under your sink has no job here either. You were not buying cleaning power all those months. You were buying labels. A different plastic bottle for every problem the last plastic bottle did not quite solve. And nobody told you there was a simpler way, because there is no profit margin in a $6 jar that a family mixes once and forgets about. The money is in the next jug. It has always been in the next jug. Here is what I'm going to show you. Exactly what is in that jar, why each ingredient works, what it costs, what it saves, and, just as important, where this old method has its limits and where the store-bought detergent has honestly earned its place. No inflation. No miracle, just the plain truth about $6, 3 old ingredients, and the laundry room your grandmother ran without an aisle. I want to be straight with you before I go further. What I am about to show you is not the same thing as that liquid detergent you have been buying every month. It is not Tide. It is not Persil. And I am not going to stand here and lie to you and pretend it is, because the moment I do that, you stop trusting me. And you should. What it is a dry laundry powder made from 3 old ingredients. A bar of soap that has been sold since 1894, a box of washing soda, and a box of borax that can handle a meaningful share of your ordinary laundry for far less money than any jug on the shelf, if you understand where it works and where it does not. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what each ingredient does, why the combination cleans, how to make one batch for about $4 to $6, what loads it handles well, what loads still call for real detergent, and what the honest math looks like when you stop buying a new jug every single month. No hype, no miracle, just plain work, plain ingredients, and a number you can check for yourself. That is what I teach in this kitchen and in this laundry room. Not miracles, methods. And the methods come from a place most people have forgotten about. My mother did not have a laundry aisle. She had a wash day. She had a bar of soap, a box of booster, a washboard when she needed it, and the habit of treating a stain the moment it happened, instead of hoping the next load would take care of it. She did not think of that as thrift. She thought of it as laundry. It was the only kind she knew, and the clothes came out clean, and the family did not spend $12 a month on something that poured out of a plastic jug. I watched her do it. I learned from her hands. And what I am passing along to you today is not some formula I invented. It is the old principle she lived by. Plain soap does the cleaning, the minerals help it along, and a household that understands its own laundry does not need to be sold a new product every season. Now, before I show you what to do, you need to understand why it works, because that is what tells you what to expect and, just as important, what not to expect. There are 3 ingredients, and each one has a different job. The soap bar is the actual cleaner. In this recipe, that is Fels-Naptha, a laundry bar that has been on shelves since 1894. Soap molecules have one end that grabs onto oily body soil and grease, and another end that lets water carry that soil away. That is the old part. That is the part your grandmother understood without needing a chemistry class. When you rub that bar on a greasy collar or a food stain and the stain lifts, you are watching soap do exactly what it was made to do. The washing soda is sodium carbonate, Arm& Hammer Super Washing Soda, the same box your mother or her mother kept under the sink. It is a strong alkaline builder, around pH 11, which means it softens water and helps the soap work more effectively. Hard water is full of minerals that fight soap. Washing soda grabs those minerals, pulls them out of the way, and lets the soap do its job without interference. The borax is sodium tetraborate, 20 mule team, the box with the mules on the front that has been sold since 1891. It works as a laundry booster. It helps brighten, it helps deodorize, and it works alongside the washing soda to give the soap a better chance at doing its work in your water. Now here's the part most of the internet leaves out. This combination is not a modern enzyme detergent. Modern detergents use synthetic surfactants and often enzymes that break down protein stains, starch, and stubborn oily soils in ways plain soap cannot. An ordinary soap reacts with hard water minerals and can form curd or scum, a residue that reduces cleaning power and can build up on fabric over time. So what should you expect? Expect this mix to do reasonably well on ordinary laundry, body soil, light grease, everyday family wash, especially when you pre-treated the stain first. And expect it to struggle with heavy protein stains, synthetic athletic wear odors, very hard water, and situations where your machine specifically calls for HE detergent. I will come back to all of that because honest scope matters more than a sales pitch. If what I just explained makes sense to you, if you came here to learn the kind of plain, honest method that saves real money without pretending to be something it is not, I would ask you to subscribe to this channel. That is how this work continues. One subscription tells me there is one more household that wants the truth more than the trend. That is all I will say about it. Back to work. Here's what you need, and I am going to put a dollar figure on every single item, because that is how you know whether the trip is worth making. 1 bar of Fels-Naptha laundry soap, 5 ounces. At Walmart, that runs about $1.87 at current shelf price. Call it $2 at mass retail, because the price shifts and marketplace listings sometimes run higher. 1 box of Arm & Hammer Super Washing Soda, 55 ounces. Currently about $5.38. 1 box of 20 Mule Team Borax, 65 ounces. Currently about $10.99. Your first trip to the store costs roughly $18 to $19 for all 3 items. But the recipe does not use all of the borax or all of the washing soda. It uses the whole bar, 1 cup of borax, and 1 cup of washing soda. So the cost of 1 mixed batch, 1 jar of this powder, is a fraction of that first purchase. Roughly $4 to $6, depending on where you buy and how you measure. And you will get multiple batches from those boxes before they run out. Now, what not to buy and what not to do. Do not buy a soap bar that is not meant for laundry. Fels-Naptha is a laundry bar. It is formulated for the wash. A bath soap or a fancy handmade bar may leave behind things you do not want in your machine. Do not handle these ingredients barehanded if your skin is sensitive. Washing soda is highly alkaline, pH 11, and it can irritate skin. Borax says plainly on the box not to get it in your eyes and not to ingest it. Fels-Naptha's safety data sheet warns of possible allergic skin reaction and temporary eye irritation, and it says do not mix it with other chemicals. So wear gloves during mixing, keep the dust out of your face, and treat this with the same plain respect you would give any cleaning product. Here are your steps, and I want you to follow them in this order. Step 1. Grate the bar very fine. This is the part most folks get wrong, and it is the part that matters most. Fine shreds disperse evenly in the wash. Coarse curls do not. If the soap stays chunky, it will not distribute through the water properly, and you will get uneven cleaning and soap residue on your clothes. Use a box grater, use the finest side, and take your time. You are not in a rush. You are building something that will sit in a jar for weeks. Step 2. Measure 1 cup of borax and 1 cup of washing soda. That gives you 1 actual cleaner, the soap, plus 2 boosters that soften the water, raise the alkalinity, and help the soap do more work with less effort. Step 3. Mix all 3 together in a dry bowl or bucket until the powder is fully uniform. No pockets of washing soda hiding at the bottom. No clumps of grated soap sitting on top. Stir longer than you think you need to. When you think it is mixed, stir it again. Uniform means uniform. Step 4. Transfer the powder to a dry, labeled, airtight container. Not an old food jar with no label. A clearly marked container that says what it is. Keep it away from children and pets. Keep it dry. Moisture will cause the powder to clump and the soap to stick together, and you will lose the even distribution you just worked to create. Step 5. Dosage. Start with 1 tablespoon for a modest load, 2 tablespoons for a larger or dirtier one, and then adjust only if your clothes tell you to. If they come out clean and soft, you found the right amount. If they feel coated or look dull, you use too much. If they do not smell clean, you may need a little more, or you may need to be pre-treated the stain before the wash. Step 6. And this is the step that makes the old method look as impressive as it deserves to look. Pre-treating. Wet the stain, rub the Fels-Naptha bar directly on it, let it sit for a minute, and then wash. That is the official guidance right on the Fels-Naptha packaging, and it is where this bar does its single best piece of work. A pre-treated stain gives the soap a head start. An untreated stain asks the wash water to do all the heavy lifting. And with a soap-based powder instead of an enzyme detergent, that is asking more than it can always deliver. Step 7, and this one is for your machine. If you have a traditional top-loading washer, this powder is easier to defend. It dissolves in a full tub of water, and the agitation helps distribute it. If you have a high-efficiency front loader, I want you to read your machine manual. If your washer says HE detergent only, believe the machine. HE washers and HE detergents are designed to work together. They use less water and they need a low sudsing formula. Soap-based powders can create issues in those machines. Excess suds, residue buildup, and potentially less effective cleaning. I am not going to tell you to ignore your machine's instructions to save a few dollars. That is not thrift. That is trouble. The wrong approach to debunk is the one you see in half the videos online. Dump in a giant scoop, skip the pre-treating, and expect this powder to beat modern detergent on every stain, every fabric, every water type. That is where homemade soap powder loses trust. And that is why I am telling you the truth now instead of letting you find out the hard way. Now, where this recipe comes from, because that matters. You are not learning some magical lost formula passed down word for word from a grandmother's secret recipe box. That is not the honest history, and the honest history is stronger than the fake one. The honest history is this. Laundry for generations relied on soap, alkaline boosters, soaking, rubbing, and wash day technique. Fels-Naptha has been sold since 1894. 20-mule team borax was first sold in 1891. Washing soda has been a household staple for over a century. Soap-based laundering is older than synthetic detergents by a long stretch. Detergents rose later as chemistry advanced and as synthetic surfactants replaced straight soap for many household tasks. What you are recovering is not a secret. It is a principle. Plain soap does the cleaning, the minerals help it along, and thrift starts with understanding what each part does instead of trusting the label on the next jug. The savings from this jar compound only if you build the right habit around it. Pre-treating is the habit that matters most. Greasy cuffs, dirty collars, food spots, Rub them with the bar before the wash instead of trying to make the whole load stronger. That one step is where the Fels-Naptha bar earns most of its keep. Keep the powder dry. Use the smallest scoop that gets the clothes acceptably clean. And watch your clothes and your machine. If your laundry starts to feel coated, smell dull, or look gray, that is your signal. Reduce the dose, add an extra rinse, or stop using the mix for that particular category of laundry. Hard water makes soap-based methods perform worse, not better. If your water is hard, this powder will fight you, and the answer is not more powder. The answer is to know your water and adjust your expectations. That gives you a practical rhythm. Soap powder for ordinary household laundry when it performs well, and true detergent when the fabric, the water, or the machine demands it. Now be honest about what this does. It is strong on ordinary cottons, towels, everyday family wash, and work shirts, especially when you pre-treated the stain first with the bar. Households with softer water and viewers most motivated by cost will see the best results. It is mild on whites and brightness. Washing soda and borax help, but modern detergents have builder packages and enzyme systems this mix simply does not have. Your whites may stay clean, but they may not stay as bright over time as they would with a detergent built for that job. It is weak on heavy protein stains, blood, egg, baby formula, on starch stains, on synthetic athletic wear that holds odors, in very hard water, and in some high-efficiency and front-load machines. This is the place where you have to say it plainly. It is a cheap soap powder, not a laboratory-built detergent. If you need enzyme power, buy enzyme detergent. There is no shame in that. There is only shame in pretending a soap powder does what it cannot. And that is where I want to talk about the claim you may have seen in the title or in other videos, that one batch lasts a year or washes 100 loads. I am not going to make that promise, because the honest answer depends on how fine you grate the soap, how small your scoop is, how large your loads are, and how dirty your laundry runs. The supportable truth is this. One cheap batch, dozens of loads, with the bar doing most of its best work as a pre-treater. That is a real saving. It does not need to be inflated. I already covered safety in the mixing steps, but let me gather it in one place because it matters. Borax. Do not get it in your eyes. Do not ingest it. Keep it away from children and pets. Washing soda. Highly alkaline, around pH 11, and caustic enough to irritate skin. Wear gloves when you handle it. Fels-Naptha. Its safety data sheet lists possible allergic skin reaction, temporary eye irritation, and says do not mix it with other chemicals. And all of it. Label the jar clearly, store it dry, and store it where small hands cannot reach it. Here is where it all comes together. 1 bar of Fels-Naptha, grated fine. 1 cup of washing soda. 1 cup of borax. Mixed uniform, stored dry, dosed at 1 to 2 tablespoons. Pre-treated stains get the bar rubbed directly on them before the wash. Strong on everyday cottons and towels. Mild on whites. Weak on protein stains, athletic odors, hard water, and some HE machines. A $4 to $6 batch that stretches across dozens of loads. That is the whole method. The honest math is plain. Your first pantry buy, all 3 ingredients, runs about $18 to $19 at current mass retail pricing. But one batch of the mixed powder costs roughly $4 to $6 because you use the whole bar, but only a fraction of the borax and washing soda boxes. Those boxes make multiple batches before they run out. Now compare that with what you have been spending. A 64-load bottle of Tide runs about $12.99 to $13.62 at Walmart right now. That is roughly 20 to 21 cents a load. Persil, 110 loads, runs about $22.88, again around 21 cents a load. Your soap powder at $4 to $6 for a batch that covers dozens of loads brings your per load cost well below that. but I am not going to pretend the savings are a fortune. The honest gap is real, and it compounds over months. But it is not the cartoonish miracle some videos promise. Where the savings truly stack is when you stop buying the stain spray, the scent beads, the special formula add-ons, and the next jug you did not need. Because the bar on its own pre-treats most ordinary stains better than a spray from a bottle. There is no money in teaching a family to grate one old laundry bar, stir in 2 old boosters, and keep a dry jar on the shelf for weeks. There is a great deal of money in selling the next jug, then the scent beads, then the stain spray, then the special formula for one more problem you did not know you had. That is not a conspiracy. Nobody sat in a boardroom and plotted to hide your grandmother's laundry method. It is simpler than that. A system that sells recurring products will always promote recurring products. And an old method that costs $4 to $6 and sits quiet in a jar does not promote anything. It just works, load after load, for the household that bothered to learn it. But I will be honest with you about the other side, too. Modern detergents did not win only because they had better marketing. They solved real problems old soap had: hard water interference, residue, limited stain chemistry. The old way is not automatically better. It is cheaper, and it is sufficient for a great deal of ordinary laundry, and that is a distinction worth understanding. This episode is not really about a yellow bar and 2 white powders. It is about whether the laundry room belongs to the store or to the person who understands what the ingredients do. A home that can make its own laundry powder is a home that does not panic when the detergent aisle is empty. A home that can pre-treat a stain with a $2 bar is a home that does not need a $6 spray. And a home that knows where the old method works and where it does not is a home that spends money only where money is actually needed. That is what thrift means in a laundry room. Not deprivation, not going without, knowing what works, knowing what it costs, and keeping the difference. Here is what I want you to do. Tonight, price the 3 ingredients at your nearest store or check them online and compare that number with what you currently spend on detergent each month. This week, make 1 batch. Label it. Test it on ordinary towels or work shirts, not on your most delicate laundry and not on your nicest whites. Give it a fair trial on the loads where it has the best chance. This month, decide which loads it handles well in your house and which ones still call for true detergent. Every household's water is different. Every family's laundry is different. Let your clothes tell you the answer. This season, keep the bar on hand mainly for pre-treating because that is where it is easiest to prove its value. Load after load without any argument. Now I have 2 questions for you, and I read every single one of these. First, what does a month of laundry detergent cost in your house right now? Write down the real number because most people have never added it up, and the number is usually higher than they think. Second, if your mother or your grandmother had a wash day trick that we did not cover today, bluing, soaking, line drying, homemade soap from scratch, whatever it was, write it down in the comments before it disappears. Those methods are leaving with that generation, and the only way they survive is if someone bothers to say them out loud. If you are not subscribed, this is the kind of work we do here. Plain methods, real prices, honest scope, no hype. Subscribe if you want more of it. Next time, same principle, different drain on the grocery bill. The old laundry room staple that replaces fabric softener and half the scent aisle. Same honest teaching, same real numbers. Until then, price your ingredients, make your first batch, test it on the towels, and keep the bar by the sink where it belongs. That is how it was done in any home that bothered to learn. And that is how it is still done in any home that remembers.